full address?
Bob,
What's
who
your
are
full
you?
address?
Bob, who are you?
What's your full address?
Bob, who are you?
You haven't answered my question.
No, I have twice now.
What's your address?
Twice now.
Because
who are you?
I think.
Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah. Why are you trying to get?
No, let's let him come in.
Why are you giving it all
Why
that
are you pushing?
Why are you?
Let all that you do be done in love. A Christian, when they see their society collapsing around them, doesn't cower or run in fear. He doesn't stick his head in the sand and hope that it will all change and just go away and be all right. He doesn't throw up his hands and say all is lost. A true man, when he sees a challenge, he rises to the challenge. He digs deep within his own soul to find the strength to do what is necessary to meet the challenge in front of him. And this is what, as Christians, we are called to do: to see the signs of the time, to be watchful, to act like men. That means that when we see our society collapsing around us, we don't run away. We don't go and join the opposition as Andrew Tate did. We don't despair as Tommy Robinson does. And we don't just sort of stick our hand in the sand as Jordan Peterson does. No, as Christians, we rise up and we stand in the breach. We stand up for that which is good and true and noble. The darkest point of the night is just before the dawn. And I want to say, it's no lie to recognize that Western civilization is dying. It is dying because of the cancer of liberalism. It is dying because of the cancer of progressive thought that has thrown away all virtue and has instead come to celebrate all vices, has thrown away all moral axioms, has given up on the sense of truth, and has instead embraced an Epicurean religion of the self, where the self is God, decides its own truth, and lives as it wants to live. That kind of society is destined to die. And sadly, it is true that Western society will continue to walk down this road a little bit more before enough people come to their senses to snap out of the madness. It says in Psalm 1, verses 1 to 6, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord. On his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted in streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all he does he prospers. The wicked are not so, but they are like chaff that the winds drive away." When we look at the West, we see a decadent society that is dying. The church must root itself in the teachings of the prophets and the apostles. Only by rooting our identity fully and completely in our Christianity can we wither the storm that is destroying the West. That we can stand tall when all around us fall, just as the church did in the 4th century when the Roman Empire was collapsing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about how Islamists and Muslim missionaries are using this situation to their advantage. They are arguing a narrative which says that the West has failed because Christianity has failed. The West is failing because Christianity is failing. There is no doubt that the kind of respectable churchianity that we have in the West is a failure. That kind of do-gooder Christianity that is represented by characterizations like the Vicar of Dibley or Rowan Atkinson's representation of the Archbishop of Canterbury, the do-gooder nicey nice kind of Christianity that the BBC constantly wants to present in front of you. But that is not the Christianity of the apostles. It is not the tutelage of our Lord Jesus Christ. The tutelage of our Lord Jesus Christ calls us to bear our cross and to suffer in his way, to tear down false idols and false gods. The Epicurean religion of the Western world is full of man-made gods. The NHS, the British Army, the nation state, pluralism, multiculturalism are all the gods of our world. You know who your gods are because they are the ones that you can't insult. They are the ones that you can't speak against. But, ladies and gentlemen, it says in Scripture in Joshua 1:9, Yahweh says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." As a Christian, we are commanded to be brave. We are commanded to be courageous. We are commanded to be strong in the face of the enemies of the church. And the church has real enemies, people who wish to destroy it. Those who hate these enemies, like Tommy Robinson, hates Islam. All they are driven by is their hatred. And when their hatred is spent and their enemy still remains, all that they can see is Islam. And that is why so many of Tommy Robinson kinds of people end up becoming Muslim. Because they hate something, but they have nothing better to give. Or cowards and weak men like Andrew Tate also become Muslim because they say the battle is lost and I'd rather be with the winners than the losers. Or people like Jordan Peterson who try to reconcile two irreconcilable foes. That is not the way of the Christian. We Christians have defeated Islamic Jihad before. We defeated it in Eastern Europe. We defeated it in Spain. We caused the collapse of caliphate after caliphate after caliphate through our armies and through our resources. And today, in the 20th and 21st century, we have seen more Muslims become Christian in the last 200 years than in any of the 1900 years before. As Christians, we are called to be courageous in the fight for the church, not the West, not the Epicurean religion of liberalism, not modernity, not the Enlightenment, but the apostolic and prophetic faith. You are simply ignorant, ladies and gentlemen, of the counter-examples to the Muslim narrative. Amish Christians have resisted modernity and maintained traditional values. The Bruderhof have resisted Enlightenment values and have maintained traditional values. The Russian Orthodox Church has maintained traditional values at least in terms of the domestic policy of Russia. There is no politics of the LGBTQ silent P that we see here in the West. Traditional Roman Catholics have maintained traditional values. So when the Muslim tells you that the West has failed because Christians have abandoned the faith, use this example to show the lie of what they are saying. I want to be clear. When I say the church, what is the church? The church are the bishop, are not just the bishops. The church is the laity. The church is you, my brothers and sisters that hear my voice. You are the church. You are the ones that must rise up. You are the ones that must take a stand. You are the ones that must unite. You are the ones that must train. You are the ones that must organize. You are the ones that must mobilize. You are the ones that must resist. Stop looking to the bishops or the politicians or the celebrities. Stop outsourcing your responsibility to defend the Christian church. Stop outsourcing your responsibility for working to a new Christendom. This is what you must do, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's funny that I should be heckled by just the kind of simp that I am addressing. A man who became a Muslim because the Muslims promised him a wife. A man who we have on camera who defended marrying children and having sex with children, and we have it on camera. You can find it on Soko films.
Do you believe there are six-year-olds today that could be aware of marriage enough to actually make a decision to marry at 6?
I believe,
to a grown man?
I believe that individuals like that, as I said, are exceptional. So I don't believe your average 6-year-old.
How exceptional is it? How exceptional is it?
It's like probably 1 in a million or something.
1 in a million.
And that's why I said that
See,
Aisha
again,
was a
you're
very
saying that
exceptional
Aisha is the savant. Yes,
I am. What's wrong with that?
And as you can see, there are witnesses that know that he did it. A man that became Muslim because he was promised to be famous. This kind of simp is the kind of wink man that becomes a Muslim in the West.
Look in my eyes, Bob.
It says in the church, it says in the church, in 1 Corinthians 13:11, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. The Western world is an immature culture that is also always about instant gratification, about pursuing the immediate gratification of your desires and lusts. These are the ways of children, to constantly distract yourself from the bigger questions of life and to organize your life based upon the things that are important. Christian, throw off childish ways. Become a man, a Christian man, and defend against Islamists like this, who see that their role in life is to try and oppress the Christian. They try to discourage you by saying that the battle is lost, by saying that churches become mosques, by talking about this person became a Muslim or that person became a Muslim. Ladies and gentlemen, Christianity is the fastest growing religion in Indonesia. Christianity is the fastest growing religion in Iran.
You're a minority
There
in
are
Britain.
Christians.
Christians
There are Christians in Mecca worshipping Jesus Christ. Just this week, a Christian sister from Egypt told me about how she had left Islam and how she had become a Christian and how she hopes to leave Egypt to live in a free country. And she was telling me about how Christians in Egypt are persecuted like by Muslims that we see here today. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, they are harassing me. If they're willing to do that in this park, what will these kinds of Muslims do if you allow them to have politics over you? So, ladies and gentlemen, any questions?
Why are you attacking other religions? Why?
Right, so the lady asks a fair question. Why am I criticising other religions?
Attacking, I said, not criticising.
Attacking, okay, we'll use the word attacking. I am attacking Islam because Muslims in this park attack Christianity. I am attacking Islam. Madam, no, let me answer your first question. I am attacking Islam because for 14 centuries, madam, that you do not know about, because yes I am, because there you've never been taught it in school, and the British media don't talk about it, that for 14 centuries Christians were made second-class citizens. You see, you're not listening. Christians were made second-class citizens in the Islamic world for 1400 years.
Okay, I'll say this.
Did you know that?
Did I know what?
You see, she didn't even
No,
listen.
because you're blabbering.
Didn't even listen. Didn't even listen. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any other questions?
Your shit doesn't stink, bro.
Any other
Come off
questions?
your high horse.
So have Christians never? Have Christians
Any
never
other
caused
questions?
atrocities?
Everyone is stupid and bot
Have
knows everything.
Christians never
Right,
caused
Lee, let me
atrocities?
just deal with this point. If I have holes in my ship
And don't lie.
and it's letting in water,
Because you do that a lot.
and I say your ship has holes in it, does that stop my ship from sinking? She asks, did Christians do wrong to others? Yes, they did. Did doing those wrongs emulate the teachings of Jesus Christ? No, they did not.
Why are they still-
However, ladies and gentlemen, because she won't listen to this answer either, ladies and gentlemen, in Islam, if a Christian wants to leave Islam, if a Christian wants to leave Islam, according to Islamic law, they can be executed. Did you know that, madam?
Darling, I do
Did you know that?
I do know this.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
And do you agree with it? Did you agree with that?
Wait a moment.
Do you
Can I
agree with that?
respond? Or are you gonna
Answer my
retract
question.
me?
Answer the
Well,
question.
you didn't answer mine, so
I
why
did.
should
I
answer
did.
yours?
Did you know that?
Yes.
Do you agree with it?
No.
Good. So have you just criticised Islam?
Can I speak
Would
now?
you criticise Islam for
I
that?
am criticising all organised religion because you've all done the same bloody thing.
Answer
and
the
you're
question.
criticising each other.
No, you see, you don't follow the argument. You
What
didn't follow the
argument? I've
argument.
just said it.
You
You
didn't
right,
follow
okay,
the
one
argument,
moment
did
then.
you?
One moment. then.
Ladies and gentlemen.
One moment.
Ladies-
Can I then answer back?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, what I'm saying is, you're stood here criticising another religion.
That criticises mine.
Yes, which two wrongs don't make a right. And I think
Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
Because it's both wrong. You shouldn't be
Why
doing that
is
to
it
each
wrong?
other.
According to who?
We love.
According to...
Because
Wait one
it's not
second.
God.
Wait a second.
Our God should be about
These are
love.
just cliches you
No,
picked
it's
up from
not.
the media.
It's not a cliche
These
from
are
the
utter
media at all
cliches.
whatsoever.
These are
I've been
utter
told-
cliches.
And please
Utter
allow me
cliches.
to speak.
Utter cliches.
Oh, I can't.
These are utter
Do you
cliches.
know, all right, you are
You wanted to
so
force yourself. No, all you've got,
Darling.
madam, all you've said is we shouldn't criticise one another because it's wrong.
Yes.
Tell me, is it wrong to criticise female genital mutilation?
Yes.
It is wrong to criticise female mutilation.
Criticisation across the board.
Is it wrong to criticise child marriage?
It is wrong to criticise another from your own perspective.
So it's
because you
wrong.
don't live in their
So it's
reality.
wrong to criticise child marriage. Do you agree?
You're all the same. You've done it in Christianity.
Answer the question.
You've done it in Christianity.
Does that mean we shouldn't criticise it?
You should look at your own self
Should
before
answer the
you blame
question.
others.
I believe that. I believe that.
Yes.
Yes, I do believe that.
Yes.
Do we do child marriage here?
No, because it's against the law
Right.
here.
So we've taken that plank out of our eye.
Are you
Is
trying
it now
to-
right?
Can I ask you a question?
Is it no? I'm asking you a
No,
question.
listen,
Is
are
it
you
now
trying to ask
right?
me if I'm Muslim?
No,
If I
no,
agree
that's
with the
not.
Muslim faith?
No, that's not. No.
My faith
You see, you're not
system-
even answering.
My faith
You're not even
system-
listening.
Oh,
You're
you
not
shut
even
up.
listening. If you want to have a conversation, we'll do a conversation.
All right then.
Would
If
you like to have a
shut up while I
conversation?
speak and I shut up while you speak.
Let's
then,
do that then.
okay?
Right.
So hold your breath one
shall we do
moment,
it? Shall we
please.
time it? Let's time
Okay,
it.
come on then.
Shall we time it? Can we get a timer? Can someone time it? On your clock. Stop clock. 3 minutes. 2 minutes. 2
I don't
minutes.
need that long.
2 minutes.
I don't
All right.
need that
We'll do
long.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I don't need
Give me a
that
step
long.
watch for 2 minutes.
Don't allow him to control.
Would you like 1 minute? 1 minute?
We'll tell you what we do. 10 seconds or less.
No. 1 minute.
Right.
1 minute.
One question.
We'll
Let's
do
do
it.
it. Come on.
Right, are you
Back
ready?
and forth.
Okay, so you're going to
Why?
have
Because you're
1
telling me
minute.
to be
Go.
irritating
Go. What
because
you
I'm female.
Tell her. Tell her.
Why are you controlling the conversation?
My belief system, right, darling, is the fact of is all of you are so concerned with arguing with each other who's right and wrong in your belief system, rather than at the bottom line, God is the top and be all of end of it all. Yeah? Shouldn't we all love one another because of the fact that at least they believe in something than nothing? Simple.
Can I reply?
Oh, you've got 2 minutes.
Right, so reset the clock and I'll do 2 minutes.
20 seconds, Julie, 10 seconds.
It's all right.
Right.
Let it babble.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, remember she said, when I talk, she'll be quiet. So, ladies and gentlemen, the sister's perspective is we shouldn't criticise child marriage. We shouldn't criticise female genital mutilation. We shouldn't criticise people for adopting another religion. This is the perspective. This is the perspective. This is the perspective that liberal culture leads you to. This is the perspective of the cliches. No, she's coming out with these cliches, but these are the fruits of those cliches. She said that it is not right. It is not the right, ladies and gentlemen. It is not right, ladies and gentlemen, to criticise other people. That's what she said. But that means that we can't criticise things that are wrong by that logic. And I absolutely guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, that there are things that this lady does criticise.
Everyone's stupid.
So I don't believe for one second that she practices what she preaches. And note the Islamic supremacists and their stinking attitude of supremacy. I am not their dhimmi, and I will debate you in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Christians do not believe, as liberals do, that you shouldn't criticise everyone. We do believe that you should love everyone, and if you love people, you correct them. What kind of mother would not criticise her children if her children were doing something wrong?
Right,
Your 2
back
minutes.
to me, yeah. Where in the question at the beginning of that was any of that?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it. Max, yours.
Right,
Exactly.
2 more minutes, 2 more minutes. Right, let me reset. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we see that the liberals can't stand up for debate. Once their assumptions are destroyed, they simply run away. Liberalism like that is our weakness. We must throw it off. Throw it off in our mind, throw it off in our heart, throw it off in our lifestyle. And why should we throw it off, ladies and gentlemen? Because the liberal defended supremacists like this. Supremacists like this were defended by the liberal like that. But notice on camera, she was telling them to shut up. And they didn't. And so they disrespected her while saying that I disrespected people. And they disrespected her. Ladies and gentlemen, they demonstrate to you how Christians will be treated in this country if we do not stand up to the trash that is standing before me now. But since they are so keen to debate, now I will debate them about Islam. So, let me ask you a question.
Bob,
Let me ask you, watch him run. Watch him
You've
run.
been disrespectful.
Situations like this, the best thing to do
Watch
is
him
turn back
run.
and walk away and don't give
Watch
them
him
a
run.
chance.
Watch him run. No, you interrupted me.
No, they do.
So let me debate you. Let me debate you.
I want a discussion with you. I don't want to debate with you.
Yeah, I
on
want-
a personal level first. You've been disrespectful to me once, and I've always been cordial with you. I kept decorum.
No, you didn't.
And I did keep decorum.
camera,
And
you
one
didn't.
day we
No.
were here, and you called me a liar. When
You
I
did
was
lie.
not like
You did
called
lie.
me. You called me a liar
You
because
did lie.
you called me a
You
liar
did lie.
because my interpretation of history was
You
different.
did lie.
We did talk about
You
the
did lie.
we did talk about the Janissaries.
did lie.
We talked about the Janissaries, and you said that the Janissaries were slaves when that's not correct.
They were.
No,
They were.
And there was a
They
person
were.
in the public who came out and said that you weren't incorrect.
No, they were wrong.
You're a disrespectful
Just
person.
because someone says that
You're a
doesn't mean that they're
disrespectful
right.
person.
You're
and
making
preach-
excuses 'cause
and
you're going to run away
You're
now.
preaching crusading here.
You're
not a
you're
crusader.
going to run away now.
All your
You're
soldiers
going
are
to
leaving
run
the
away now.
battlefield and are
You're
joining
going
us.
to run.
That's the real.
Now, that's the
truth.
narrative that they want
That's
to
your
try
narrative.
and dishearten
That's your
you with.
truth. Yeah, that's your
what they're
narrative.
trying to dishearten
You
you
were
with.
screaming this a minute ago.
But we must not.
You said
we
that
must
Henry
not
Tate was
be
a weak man. He
disheartened.
left the battlefield.
We must not be
You
disheartened.
said that Tommy Robinson's
If you want to
followers-
look
I'm just giving
for
people
real
back.
Christian heroes,
No,
look at Skanderbeg.
No.
Look at
no.
Jan Hus.
Yes.
Look at the
And
Knights
yet
Templar.
And yes, the Kosovians
Look
are
at
Muslims.
Richard I.
And yet the people in Kosovo are
Ladies
Muslims.
and gentlemen.
Yet the people in Kosovo are
Ladies
Muslims.
and gentlemen.
Yet the
The
Muslims.
reality
Are
is.
Muslims.
The reality
Yet
is.
the people in
Ladies and
Kosovo are
gentlemen.
Muslims.
The reality is,
The people
we
in
have
Kosovo are still Muslims,
defeated
though.
Islam
What are you talking
before,
about? You talk about
and we
Skanderbeg.
will defeat it
You talk
again.
about Skanderbeg.
But we won't defeat it through the liberalism
Listen,
that you've just
listen.
seen. Now, let me ask you this
accountability.
question.
We're not gonna get into
I want to talk about.
No,
now,
I want
notice
to-
he's running.
No, I want to
the
talk about
strong
you.
man of Islam
No, I want to
is
talk-
running
no,
from a
I want to
debate
talk
about
about
Islam.
Bob.
He is running.
I want to talk about
He
Bob.
is running.
I want to talk about Bob. Who's Bob? And what is Bob doing here? I'm more interested in you because you disrespected me that day.
You're just-
I've
you're just-
kept decorum.
you're just-
Look,
no, you haven't.
Look.
You haven't.
I can do this any day. We've
You
done
haven't.
it millions of times.
You haven't.
It's not about that.
You haven't
I
kept
don't
decorum.
want to know who Bob is today and what Bob comes up here and thinks that he has bigger. You got bigger over time, my bro.
Right. So here's a
on
question.
a personal level. No, we
so
can't
here's
do
a
that.
question.
On a personal level.
So I
Who
want to
are
ask
you?
you.
Who are you,
I
Bob?
want to say.
What happened to you
I
when
want
you
to
were
say
16 years old?
that this
Were you
hadith
bullied?
is a
Were
lie.
you bullied? Were you
This
bullied?
was a hadith.
Were you bullied?
Now notice, ladies and
Were you
gentlemen,
bullied?
he's running from the
No,
debate.
I'm running towards you.
The hadith.
I'm running towards
The
you.
hadith
I'm running towards you.
is a
Bob.
lie.
You're
and I'm
hiding
going to
behind-
prove to you
You're hiding
today
behind religion.
that his
You're
book
hiding behind
is
religion.
a lie.
You're hiding behind
Now we know,
religion.
ladies and gentlemen,
You're
the
hiding
ad
behind
hominem
religion.
attack is the sign
Who
of
is
a lost
Bob?
debater.
Who is Bob?
So, ladies and
Who
gentlemen,
is Bob?
the
What
hadith
happened to
reads
you?
this about
What happened
Hercules.
to you? Were you bullied?
I was informed
No, I'm not interested in
by
that.
Abu
Talk to me.
Sufyan
Were
that
you bullied?
Hercules said to him,
Bob.
I asked
Bob.
you whether they, the
Bob.
followers of Muhammad,
Bob.
were increasing or decreasing.
Bob.
They replied
Bob, who are you?
that they were increasing.
Bob, who are
In
you?
fact,
Tell me, who
this
are
is
you?
the way
Who
of
are you?
faith
What happened to you?
until it is completed
Were you bullied?
in all
You're
respects.
bullied. That's what it is. I see.
I further
Look
ask.
in my eyes. Look in my eyes and say
He's
that.
trying to intimidate
No,
me.
I'm not intimidating
Why are you
you.
trying to
Who
intimidate
are you?
me?
Do you feel
You're not
intimidated?
scary.
Do you feel intimidated?
You're not scary.
Do you feel intimidated?
No one's your dimmy.
Do you feel?
You're not
do you
scary.
feel intimidated?
Not by you.
Do you, okay,
Not by
okay,
you.
then don't say that.
You don't.
Who are you?
Why are you trying to intimidate me?
Who are you?
Why are you trying to
Who are
intimidate
you,
me?
Bob?
Why are you trying to
No,
intimidate me?
no, I want to know
Why
who
are
you
you
are. I
trying
want to
to
know who
intimidate
you
me?
are.
I want to know where you live.
No, I want to
Tell
know
us
who you
where
are.
you live.
I've asked you the
Tell us
question
where you
before.
live.
I live in Housden.
Where,
Who are
what's
you?
your address?
Who are you?
Give us your address.
Who are you?
Who's your
I've
employer?
already- No,
Who's your employer?
I already replied.
Who's your
I live in
employer?
Housden.
Where in
Bob,
Housden?
who are
What's
you?
your address?
Bob, who are
Do
you?
you see, ladies and gentlemen?
Bob, who are you?
That's what he's
Look
trying
into
to
my
do.
eyes. Look into
but
my eyes.
why isn't he
Don't look
telling
away.
us his address?
Don't look away.
Is he
Don't look
scared?
away. I live in Housden.
Where in
I live in
Housden?
Housden.
Where? What
Look
street?
into my eyes. Who
What
are you?
street?
Who are you?
What street in
Bob,
Housden?
Bob,
No.
Bob.
Do you want to have an intelligent conversation,
No, there's
ladies
no
and
intelligence
gentlemen?
with you. You're decorum.
Why
You're
is
disrespectful.
the Muslim
You're disrespectful.
scared
No
to
conversation.
defend his book?
No.
This hadith,
You hide
ladies and
behind
gentlemen,
religion. I'm not going to hide
says-
behind religion. I'm not going to hide behind religion.
says
It's easy.
that the Muslims
easy. Who are you,
spoke
Bob?
to the Emperor Heraclius.
Bob, who are you?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bob, who are
that
you?
conversation
Bob,
never happened.
who are you? What happened to you?
It never happened.
Tell me about you.
And this kind
Where
of
did you grow up? Where did you grow
thug
up?
Islam
You told me you grew up
is
on an estate.
exactly what will happen
Did you grow up
to
on
you
an estate?
brothers and sisters
No.
if you don't stand
Everyone
up
knows me here.
to this
Everyone knows
Islamist
me here.
thuggish
Everyone knows me here.
attitude.
Everyone knows me here.
Now he
I'm not a
demands
thug. I'm not a
that
thug.
I give his name, that I give my name.
Everyone knows me here.
Why
I'm not a
doesn't
thug.
he give his
I'm not a thug.
address? Why doesn't he give his
I asked you
address?
que- I told you
I
to ask
want
me.
your address.
To do what?
Tell me your address.
Why?
Why? Why doesn't he want his address? Why doesn't he
make sense.
want to give his address?
I asked you.
It doesn't make sense. Why don't you want
Who
to give
are
your
you?
address?
That's the biggest question.
Why don't you want to give
The
your
biggest
address?
question is, who are you,
Notice
Bob?
the double standards
Bob, I told
of
you
the
where I live.
Islamist
Where do you
thug.
live? Where do you live?
He can't intimidate
Where do you
me.
live?
He can't bully
Where
me.
do you live? I live in
He
Houston. Where do you
can't
live?
debate me.
I live in Houston.
And
Where do you live?
therefore, London. And therefore,
London.
ladies and gentlemen.
No,
And
no, it's not good.
therefore,
Where do you live in
oh,
London?
it's not good enough.
I live in Houston.
Halsden's not good enough.
No, but hold on.
Where's your address?
No, why?
What street?
Bob,
no.
who are
Why? No. Why? So
Bob,
he
who are you?
demands.
No, I demand.
He
Look,
demands that I give personal
everyone
information
here wants to know who
at
you are.
his demand.
Who are you?
Everyone
me.
here
You tell
wants
me.
to know your address.
You tell me. Who are you?
You tell me. You tell me.
No, I'm not going to tell
Oh
you.
no, he's
You
not
know-
going to
you
tell
know
me.
best. You know best.
So I'm not going to tell you.
You need to know who you are. I don't
Notice
think you know
the
who you
double
are.
standards
I don't think you know who you are.
of the Islamists,
I don't think you know who
ladies
you
and
are. I don't
gentlemen.
think you know who you are.
They use ad hominem attack
No, it's not about that.
because
It's not
every
about that. It's
debate
not about
we've
that.
had,
I need to
he
know
has
who you
been
are, Bob.
beaten in that
Bob,
debate.
I need to know who you are.
He was
Bob.
beaten
I need to know
when
who
we
you are,
debated
Bob.
Islamic theology.
Bob, I need to know who
He
you
was
are.
beaten when we
You don't
debated
know who you
the
are.
Janissaries
You lied.
in the
You lied
Ottoman
that day.
Turks.
You lied that day. You lied
We
that day.
beat him
You lied
when
that
we
day.
talked
You
about
lied
the
that day.
body parts
You
of
lied that day.
Allah. And that is why, ladies and
Everyone
gentlemen,
wants to know. On
that
Netflix
is
right
why,
now.
ladies and
On
gentlemen,
Netflix right now.
why? Now
That's a series.
notice,
It's called The Right
he
of
knows he
Ultimates.
can't intimidate
On
me,
Netflix, there's a
so
series.
now he's appealing to
On
you,
Netflix, on Netflix,
ladies
there's a
and
series.
gentlemen.
You've been talking to them in 50 minutes.
Ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
a series on Ultimate.
why is he afraid to debate this hadith?
Debate what?
The hadith
I'm not gonna
says
debate you. You're
that,
disrespectful.
that Muslims
I have
met
discussion with people.
Heraclius. Where is the evidence for this meeting?
Who are you?
What's your address?
Bob, who are
What's
you?
your address?
Tony Road. Tony
What's
Road,
your address?
Tony Road.
Tony Road.
Yeah, yes.
What's
yes,
your
I know,
address?
I know. Tony
What
Road.
number?
No,
That's not
no,
your
no,
address.
No. Who are
What's
you,
your
Bob?
full address?
Bob,
What's
who
your
are
full
you?
address?
Bob, who are you?
What's your full address?
Bob, who are you?
You haven't answered my question.
No, I have. I have
haven't.
twice now.
Tony
Who are you?
Road.
I have twice now.
Where?
I have
Tony
twice
Road.
now.
What's your
I have
address?
twice now.
Because
who are you?
I think.
Who are you?
I think.
Who are you?
I think.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to get
No,
too
let's
close,
let him
bro?
come in.
Why are you giving it all
Why
that?
are you pushing? Why are you pushing? Why are you pushing?
No.
This is
Why are you
exactly
pushing?
what they want. They
Why are
want
you
violence.
pushing? Who laid hands on who first?
Who are you, Bob?
Who's the aggressor?
Bob.
Who's the thug?
Bob.
This is their behaviour. And as I said, this is exactly what will happen. There you go again. This is how they will treat us if we don't stand up to this trash.
Bob, answer my
These
question.
Islamist dogs.
You should have just asked my
These
question.
Islamist filth.
You should have
These
just asked me.
scum that want to lord it over
Who are
us,
you?
oppress
I've been
us,
asking you.
and bully us.
I've asked you for 50
Why?
minutes. Who are you, my
Because
bro?
when you beat them
couldn't
in
answer.
argument,
You couldn't
they
answer
try
it.
to attack you.
You couldn't.
Because Islam in this park has lost the argument.
What argument?
And that's why the
argument?
Da'i run
What argument?
from me,
What argument?
and they
What
run
argument? What
from
argument?
Soko
What
films.
argument?
The
You
argument
asked me twice,
about
and I answered
the hadith
twice. asked
that
you once,
you're
you never
running
answered.
from.
You never answered.
You're running
You
from.
never answered.
You never answered my
What?
question about the
I
hadith.
answered twice. I answered twice.
You asked
me
the
where I live. I told
question.
you where I live. I told you the
You
road.
asked the
Who now?
question.
No, I asked
You
you.
didn't give me your address.
I did.
I asked you
did,
for your
I
address.
Did, I did.
So
where do you live
if
in
I
London?
write a letter,
Where do you live in London? Where do you live in London? No, no, no. Where do you live in London?
You're a
No,
liar.
no. Where do you live in
You're
London?
prove you're a
No,
liar.
no. Hey, where do you live in London? No, no.
Why are you trying to be
Where do
scary?
you? I'm not being
Why
scary.
are you trying to be scary?
I want to push
You're
you.
not scary.
I want you to push you.
You're a clown.
Bro.
You aren't
Bro,
scary.
honestly,
You don't
honestly,
intimidate me.
honestly,
You do not
honestly,
intimidate me, boy.
honestly, I'm not intimidating you.
Seriously.
Honestly, look,
don't
look,
even try.
look.
Do not try.
When the guy attacked you, I
Now.
pushed him away. I pushed him away.
No, no, no.
It's not about
No.
violence. It's not
No.
about violence.
No.
It's
Let's
not
get
about
it
violence.
clear.
It's not about violence.
Christians are attacked in this park
You attack-
almost on
Yeah.
a weekly basis by Muslims.
You too.
Muslims tried to kill a Christian in this
No,
park.
that's not true. That's not true.
They-
That's true. That's
They
true.
stole her property
No, that's not true.
in this park.
It's not true.
There you go. It says it's not true.
It's not true.
So you're saying a Muslim didn't steal Hassan's Quran?
No, murder. You said someone wanted to
No,
murder.
no, no. I said
You said
they
someone
tried
wanted
to
kill.
murder a Christian woman in this park.
That's not true.
And they did.
That's not true.
Oh, who
That's not
saw the knife attack against Hatton Tash? Do you
Hey,
see
Bob.
how they lie?
Bob.
Deceit is so
You're a liar.
normal.
Liar.
Sorry.
You're a liar. You're a
The
liar.
deceit
You're a liar.
is so normal
police-
to the heart of the Da'i.
The police never
That
arrested the
their
guy.
first action
Was the police
is
arrested?
always to lie.
Hey, murder.
And
You
we
said
caught him on camera
You said murder.
just now.
You said murder.
Because when I said
said murder.
Hatton Tash Quran
What?
was stolen
No,
by
you
Muslim,
said murder. You said murder.
did Hatton's Tash get stolen?
No, you said murder.
Yes, that's
Murder.
true as well.
Where's the arrest?
Yes,
Where's the arrest?
he got away.
No, how he got
Yes,
away?
he got away.
No face, no case. Don't blame this on the
One
Muslims for
second,
murder.
one second.
Stop lying.
Who has a
Stop
reason
lying.
to kill Hatton
No,
Tash?
that's speculation.
Who? Yes,
Speculation.
it's reasonable speculation, ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
don't say no. Don't blame the
Reasonable
Muslims. No
speculation.
face, no case.
Why did
No
the
face, no
police
case. No face, no
investigate it as a terrorist
No
incident?
face, no case. They didn't.
No,
They
yes, they did.
Oh, stop lying.
Yes,
Stop
they
lying.
did. It was handled
Stop
by
lying,
the
bro.
terrorist department of the police. If it was just a random thug, it would
Hey,
never
listen.
have been taken on by
For
the
murder,
terrorist
for
police.
murder, there has to be a suspect.
No, ladies.
For murder, there has
Let's
to be a
show you're
suspect.
another liar.
For murder, there has to be
Did
suspect.
Muslims steal Hatton
No,
Tash?
I didn't talk.
Did they steal
I
her
don't know about
Quran?
this. You talked about
Did
murder.
they steal
you
her
talked about
Quran?
murder.
Did they steal their
Talk
Quran?
about murder.
Did they
You
steal
talked
her
about murder.
Quran?
You talked about murder.
Why
and
is
you lied.
afraid to answer the
I don't
question?
know. I'm not going to answer something I don't know.
Yes, you do know.
I don't.
Stop lying,
Bro, I have a
bro.
life. I actually
Why
have a
is
life.
lying
Bro,
so normal to
Bob,
you
I actually have a life.
since you became a Muslim?
Bob, I actually have a
Why
life.
is lying
Bob,
so
I actually have a
normal
life.
to
I don't
you
know about this.
since
I know about the
becoming
murder.
a
I know
Muslim?
about the murder claim
No,
they made.
you know.
I know about the murder claim they
Put
made.
your hand up if you know about Hatton Tash's
Bro,
Quran
what the hell?
getting stolen.
What the hell?
Isn't it amazing
it's four
that
friends.
none of the Muslims
Four
put
friends
their
up
hand
their hands
up?
up. It's for your
Even the
friends.
ones that come here every week.
4 people and they're all your
Why?
friends. What the hell?
Because without lies, Islam dies.
Bob.
That's the facts, ladies and gentlemen.
Bob, look
Don't
to my
be
eyes
duped
and stop to lie.
by
Hey,
these salesmen.
Bob,
No.
Bob, who are you?
Since he
Who are
has
you?
ignored the debate,
What happened to you when
since
you
he
were 15
ran
years old? Were
away
you
from the
bullied?
debate,
Were you bullied?
let me
You were bullied.
argue
That's what
the
it is.
case
That's what
for
it is.
you.
You were bullied. I see a bully.
We have two
I see the pain in
hadiths
your eyes. I see the pain
in
in
the
your eyes. I do.
Islamic
I really see the
sources,
pain in your eyes.
in the
I see
Islamic
pain in your eyes.
sources,
I see
that
the
talk
pain in
about
your
a
eyes.
meeting
I see the pain in your eyes,
between
my brother.
Emperor
I see the pain in your
Heraclius,
eyes. I see the pain in your
between
eyes. Bob.
Emperor
Bob, who are you?
Heraclius
Bob,
and some
Bob.
Muslims.
Bob, tell me.
And I contend,
Bob,
ladies
tell me.
and gentlemen,
Bob, tell me, who are you?
that this meeting
Bob.
never happened,
Bob, tell me, who are you?
and that this hadith
Bob.
that Muslims
Bob,
say
we're
are
not gonna talk about hadith
sahih
today.
is a lie,
There's not going to be conversation about
which
hadith.
means that a lie is inside Islamic sources and is called sahih.
Bob, sister,
Ladies
sister,
and
sister,
gentlemen,
sister,
notice
Shukran.
they try to put you down.
I
They
appreciate it.
try
Sister, I
to
appreciate
speak
you.
into your life. You must recognize this strategy
like
for
to
what it is. They are trying to dishearten you. But the heart of the Christian must be strong on all sides. We cannot be disheartened by the trashy taunts of the thuggish Muslim. Notice, The Muslimah that disagrees says, oh, you're wasting your time trying to intimidate the Christian. She is absolutely right. That clown couldn't intimidate a jelly pudding. That clown couldn't intimidate a custard tart. Ladies and gentlemen, that jihadi wannabe is nothing but a supremacist who will treat Christians as second-class citizens. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's not give him the attention that he's looking for. Now, ladies and gentlemen.
Us as second-class citizens.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this hadith.
Supremacist.
Notice how they continue.
You're a Christian
Notice how they continue.
supremacist.
So when I interrupt Muslims in conversation, they can thank these two for me doing that. So, ladies and gentlemen, according to two hadiths, Emperor Heraclius met Muslims. And in these two stories, it says that the Emperor Heraclius called all the dignitaries of the Roman world together and said to them, we should change our religion. And they were so horrified by this fact that apparently these bishops and lords and legates ran to the gates away from the emperor, screaming, no, 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 no. And Emperor Heraclius said, no, come back, because I was only testing you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's what the Islamic source says. And yet, there is no record of this event anywhere in Roman history. What do we know? What do we know, ladies and gentlemen? What do we know, ladies and gentlemen, about the Emperor Heraclius? The Emperor Heraclius was a devout Christian who fought the first religious war against Zoroastrian Persians to recover the true cross. Now notice the behaviour of a Muslim jihadi wannabe.
I'm not doing anything.
He can't get the attention that he wants.
I'm just standing here.
And
Bob.
so he behaves like this.
I'm not
He embarrasses himself. He embarrasses himself by his
I'm not touching
behaviour.
you, Bob. I'm not doing anything. Look.
This is how Muslims will treat Christians. If you don't stand up to
No.
them.
Why do you treat
And you're seeing it in the past.
Respect, Bob.
That's criminal. That he is harassing. You're absolutely right. He is harassing. No, ladies and gentlemen.
Harassing him, which is a crime. No, I'm not. I know it.
Yep.
I'll ask the copper and he will prove it to you.
Yeah, if you want to go and grab a copper, I'd very much appreciate
Because
it.
you are harassing him.
Yeah, please do get the police. Please do get the police. Please. Ladies and gentlemen,
How am I provoking him?
you've got to stand up to Muslims like this. You've got to stand up to Muslims like this, because until you stand up to Muslims like this, they will continue to intimidate, aggravate, and persecute Christians. Muslims like these two, who try to intimidate Christians. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Heraclius, what do we actually know about the Emperor Heraclius? He was a religious man, a devout Christian who fought a war against the Persians to recover the relic of the true cross. Heraclius, when he was deciding strategy in front of his armies, prayed and opened the Bible to help him decide his strategy. Heraclius was a patron of the church. Heraclius was a defender of the church. How likely is it, ladies and gentlemen, how likely is it that Heraclius had a meeting with Muslims in the 7th century and then, based on one conversation, suddenly decided to give up Christianity? Does that sound likely to you? No. It gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. The report that this story appears in The report that this story appears in is in Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari is not even a 7th century document. It's a 9th century document. So it's 200 years after the event. And it is a story completely unsubstantiated by any other historical evidence. On the contrary, all the evidence points to something different. All the evidence points to the fact that Heraclius never had this conversation. What are the implications of this? The implications of this are this: that there is a lie in Sahih al-Bukhari. In other words, someone lied and made up a story that Muslims are now treating as history. Why is this a problem? Because Muslims say that for a hadith to be sahih, the people that tell the stories can't be liars. So if we have good reason to believe that someone made up a story, and we have good reason to see that that story was made up and is now in Sahih al-Bukhari, then that means the key Islamic source of Sahih al-Bukhari is not reliable. And if it is not reliable, ladies and gentlemen, then why are Muslims saying that it is? Why are they building their religion upon it? Why are they telling us it is reliable? There are good reasons to reject Sahih al-Bukhari. Any questions?
A couple of historical questions. One is, if the Roman-Persian wars had not happened, and both sides were terribly weakened by these wars, only 700 years of war, especially towards the end with Heraclius and also with Justinian against the Persians. Do you think that that Islam would have not been spread throughout the world had those empires been powerful enough to contend?
Yes, it's a very good question. Muslims often try to tell us that the great expanse of Islam in the 7th century demonstrates its truth. Well, by that logic, communism must be true because communism spread faster than Islam did. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is no connection between how fast an empire spreads and whether the religion of that empire is true. And the reality is, if the Byzantine Empire and the Zoroastrian Persian Empire had not exhausted themselves in almost 200 years of continuous war, the Zoroastrian Empire on its own would have crushed the Islamic caliphates of Muhammad, Ali, Uthman, Othman. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that even after the initial success of the Islamic world, from the 9th century onwards, the Byzantine Empire was conquering those same Arab empires. It reclaimed Antioch. It devastated as far down as the border of Egypt. And it was only the Seljuk Turks that managed to save the Arab empires from being under the boot of the Byzantine Christian Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, any other questions?
Also, that there was a period in which Justinian tried to reconquer the Western Empire after the Germanic tribes.
Very true.
The West Roman
Yeah,
Empire.
that's true. Have you got a question? It's true. Have you got a question?
Islam is religion of peace and compassion. You know,
Yes, he says Islam is a religion of peace and compassion. Absolutely true, until you criticize it, try to leave it, or argue that maybe it's not the truth. Don't believe me. Think I'm making it up? Go and look at Charlie Hebdo. Don't believe me. Think I'm making it up? Look how Dawood behaved just half an hour ago, just 20 minutes ago, trying to intimidate me. Go on, other question.
Christianity should be strong. It shouldn't tolerate open discussion, shouldn't have pluralism. So
Okay, so let
Islam
me
be a model for you.
Let me ask that question. So the question is, don't I believe that that Christianity should be like the Islam that I'm describing? The answer is no. I do not believe that. That is not what I am arguing for. I am arguing for a strong Christianity. Now notice, once again, notice, are the atheists behaving like the Muslims? No one is are the Hindus behaving like the Muslims? You're not
violent Christian.
You're not intimidating.
You are violent.
You're not intimidating. You're not intimidating.
You slapped the Afghan
You're being rude to him.
You slapped the
Let
Afghan
me answer his question.
On camera.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Are you going to deny it?
they say
Can you deny
that
that?
I'm making
Can you
it
deny
up.
slap the Muslim with the Quran
Does
here?
their behaviour
Hypocrite, man.
demonstrate the truth of what I'm saying? Doesn't their behaviour demonstrate the truth of what I'm saying? So let me try and answer your question again, and I apologise on behalf of the rude Muslims here. So, in answer to the question, I do believe that Christianity should be strong. I apologise again. He's being rude. If you come closer, you'll be able to hear me.
No one care about your life.
Can you hear me?
We Muslim, we hear your
I'll
lies
just focus
every week
on you
and
then.
we don't care about it.
So I do believe that Christianity should be stronger.
If we terrorists,
And
if
why?
we violent, we will cut you
Because
from
the
here.
stronger Christianity can deal with people like him, people like him, and people like him.
Christianity said to
These
slap people with the
Islamists
Your
that
Christianity
want to
said slap
turn
people
me
with
into
the
a
Quran.
dhimmi,
Is this your
a second-class
Is this
citizen,
what you represent
can
here?
be dealt
You're slapping people with
with
the
by
Quran.
my kind of
You terrorists,
Christianity.
you slapping people with the
But
Quran.
people like
you come and
you
intimidate a
have
Muslim every
nothing
week.
to worry about.
You terrorists,
Whatever your
you
religion
terrorizing
is,
the Muslim
whatever
every
your
week.
philosophy is.
You are such a
Why?
liar.
Because
Such
you're
a
a
liar.
reasonable person. We Christians would debate with you, but these people are political. Islam is about political dominance, and you have to have a strong politics to beat them. Now the liberal, as we saw earlier with the liberal woman, will never give you that.
How much you get every
Why?
Sunday?
Because the
Why you slap
liberal
the Muslims
will
there?
say to
Why
you,
you slapping
will
Muslims with the
say
Quran?
to you,
Why you
ladies and
attacking
gentlemen,
Muslim? Why
will
you
say
attacking
to
Muslim?
you,
Why you
will
such a
say to you,
terrorist? Why you
will
such a
say to
terrorist
you,
to rise the
will
Muslim
say
there?
to you, brother, it's okay, it's okay.
This
Brother,
Christianity.
the liberal will say to you that we can't criticize, that we're all the same. Well, let me ask you this, are you like him? No, you're not. We're not all the same. And that's why, brother, you and everyone like you needs a muscular Christianity, because the liberals are not dealing with these people. Next question, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just exposing him.
Next question.
I'm saying fact.
He says that I'm violent.
This man is violent more than
No,
anybody here.
ladies and
He slapped
gentlemen.
someone with the Quran here.
Do you believe in jihad? Do you believe in jihad? Do you believe in jihad? Of course we know the answer is yes. Of course we know the answer is yes. Muslims say to you that you cannot crusade, that you cannot defend your faith, and yet they advocate jihad. He advocates jihad. He advocates jihad.
Why you coming?
Luca advocates jihad.
Why you terrorist, man?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Why you violent? Why you coming?
they say to you
Why you are coming to
that
attack Muslims?
you cannot stand up to them. Do not believe
He's the
them.
only one that fights.
He wants to
He's
fight.
the only one
He
that
wants to
started
fight.
fights. We
Have I interrupted them? Who interrupted
care
you?
about you. We don't care why you say
Did you see him get in my face? Put your hand up if you saw him get in my face. There you go. 3 witnesses, 4 witnesses that he tried to get in my face, that he tried to intimidate me.
You don't know him. I know
This
guy.
coward,
That's why I asked
this
you.
coward,
You the
that
only coward there,
couldn't
man. You the only
intimidate
coward there,
a
man.
custard
One
tart.
coward there,
This
man.
coward
Yes.
that couldn't intimidate
Ask everyone
a
else
wet
to me.
fish. This coward
Explain why you slap
demanded
people. Explain why you
that
slap
I
people.
gave my
It's
name,
Christianity to slap
but
people.
he was unable.
Explain why you attacking
give his
Muslims there, man.
address.
Explain.
Now,
Why
let
you
me ask you a
attack
question.
Muslims? Why you attack
Let me ask you a
Muslims? Answer
question.
my question and I will answer you.
Let me ask
Why
you
you
a
attacking
question.
Muslims there?
Where?
Why you Afghan Mo? Afghan Mo.
You mean the guy that stabbed me in the foot?
Stabbed you? I can't see you stabbing
He
nothing.
stabbed me in the
nothing.
foot.
No. You
Yes,
stabbed
he
them
did.
with the Quran.
It's caught on camera.
It's on video.
Is in English
Yeah, it's
translation
in
the
video.
Quran?
It's in video.
Is the English translation
Doesn't
the
matter.
Quran?
It's still Quran.
Oh,
Still holy book.
so he
Quran.
said.